Bad choices. Dear Dr. Tracy, I am a 33-year-old divorced woman with 4 kids. I was married for 12 years and have been divorced for approximately 3 years. I met my new boyfriend during my divorce. We hit it off and have been together ever since. He is a 44-year-old divorced man. When I met him, he had been divorced for 2 years. Well, I met his ex-wife, and she seemed to be an okay person. What I found out 3 months into my relationship with him was that he was fooling around with his ex-wife again, who also at this time had a boyfriend of her own. I figured that since I did not have a committed relationship with him, I had no place to say anything. The problem is, it continued further into our relationship, up to the point when I found out I was pregnant. At the same time, I found out that he and his ex-wife planned to go to his family reunion together. Of course, before all of this, I drove by his house one night and saw her car parked outside his home. The excuse I got after all of this was that they were considering getting back together. I thought it was very funny that as soon as she met me, she found interest in him again. I guess my issue is the fact that I'm now still in this relationship. I have brought a child into this nonsense, and I hate the fact that he keeps in contact with her. My boyfriend has taken responsibility for her son from a previous relationship. His excuse for having so much contact with his ex-wife is because of that boy. I know this is not true, but I have no real proof otherwise. I have also dealt with him taking women to hotels, and my gut tells me it was her, but he promises it was not her. I have tried to get over all the cheating. I know that she is very close to his family, and I also know that his family does not like me because I stand up for myself. I guess the bottom line is knowing how much contact his ex-wife has with him and the fact that he knows that I can't stand her. Am I in a weird relationship with a man that wants to have his cake and eat it too? Or am I being paranoid and need to just trust him when he says he does not want her? I have never had so much animosity towards 2 people in my life. I do love this man, but I feel like I have put myself back in an unhealthy relationship with a man that is trying to lie to me. To be totally honest, now that I have his child, I even hate the fact that he helps her son. She never has to ask for anything regarding that boy, but I have to constantly remind him when our son needs something. He does it for the other boy without thinking, but my son is a second thought, even when I have said, "Look at your son, he is in dire need." I was married to a cheating man and hooked up with another cheating man. I wonder if it's just my bad choices in men. Welcome to the commentary for bad choices. Bad choices. I actually use this letter, this Dr. Tracy letter, in my class here in San Francisco, and we chatted about this topic a little bit. And what we talked about was the question, why do people make the same bad choices again and again and again? So, for example, at the bottom of the letter, she says, I was married to a cheating man, her first husband, and then she said, I hooked up with another cheating man, and I wonder, is it just my bad choices in men? And, there are a lot of people like this. When I was a social worker, for example, before I became a teacher, I had this kind of client all the time. I'll give you the very strong example. Some women always date men who abuse them, who hurt them, who hit them. And it happens again and again and again. So they date one man, and the man, hits them, and finally they leave this man. And the next guy they date, after a few months, maybe after 6 months or 7 months, he starts to hit them. And then they stay with him for a long time, they break up, and then again, they really not happy, and they finally find another guy. He seems so nice. You meet him, he seems very polite, but guess what happens? 6 months, 7 months later, he also abuses her, hits her. And it was a serious question. That's a very serious situation, obviously. And I would always ask, what's happening here? Why are they choosing the same kind of guy again and again and again? And of course, we all do this sometimes. I think most of us have something in our life that's not working, right? That never works. There's just some part of our life, and we continue to make the same bad choices again and again and again. My personal example, a small example, is eating sugar. I always eat chocolate and bad stuff. And I know it's bad for me, and I try to stop eating it, but then every night I go and I'll eat some more chocolate. And then I'll say, no, this is bad, I shouldn't do this. And then, maybe I'll try 1 week to be healthy, and I only eat good food, and then finally, I get some chocolate again, or I get something sweet. So this is my own thing. And of course, with me, there's some physical part too. It's a little bit of a sugar addiction. But a lot of us have these kind of behaviors in our life, and it happens a lot in relationships. People choose other people who have a similar problem, and it repeats again and again and again and again. And, it's not always conscious. Sometimes people would get angry at the women, for example, when I was a social worker. Why do these women do this? Why do they always choose these men? And they blame the woman. And of course, it is happening. The woman is doing this. She is choosing these men. But it's usually unconscious. Okay, the woman is not thinking, I want to find a man who hits me. Okay, of course not. They don't want that. But there's something unconscious, possibly something from their childhood, their own parents, some experiences, possibly something else, that they unconsciously are attracted to something about these men. And also these men are attracted to something about them or about these kind of women. And it usually has kind of a deep psychological root. It's not just so simple as, why do they do this? They don't realize they're doing it, or they realize it, but they don't know why it's happening. So it's quite serious, and it really is a very serious problem. And some women do break that. Now, some women will, if they have an abusive boyfriend who hurts them, it's not this kind of situation. Sometimes they have one, and they say, never again, and they never again date someone like that. Because, men who are like this, it's not like in the beginning, they're always very sweet and polite. I worked at a shelter for women who were abused. So this house, we would let the women and the children come and live in the house to escape the men, help them find a job and help them find another place away from the man. And, I got to hear a lot of stories about these men, and I even met some of them. And the thing about there's kind of a cycle with abuse like this. And in the beginning, these men are always very sweet and romantic. In fact, they even more than normal. If you meet them just the first time, hi, how are you? Many times they seem like they're just so great. Wow, they're so nice. They're so romantic. And when the women first date them, these men are like, always saying super nice things and giving them gifts, lots and lots of attention. And then slowly, a little bit later, after they date longer, they start to control a little bit more, right? They don't like the woman's friends, so they try to make the woman get rid of her friends. And then they separate the woman from her family. They want just the woman and him, just them, nobody else. So the woman becomes more isolated, more alone, only with the man. And then, finally, after many months, the man might hit her the first time. It doesn't happen in the beginning, right away. So these women are not stupid. It's hard to know sometimes. But anyway, there is some kind of dynamic, some kind of psychological thing happening where why do they keep getting with these kind of men? I think more personally we might think about, and maybe you could write about in the forums, think about what kind of problems do you have in your life that keep happening again and again. Somehow you unconsciously are choosing this kind of situation, or you're making it worse. I've mentioned my sugar problem is an example, and it just keeps happening again and again, no matter what I do. And Tomoe yells at me and tells me to stop doing that, right? She's shaking her head, yes. So think about that. Why do you continue to make bad choices sometimes in your life? And what bad choices do you usually make? What parts of your life do you do this? And why do you think this is happening? Now, later, I'm going to do a lesson with an article by a man named Bill Ferguson. And he actually has a few articles about this exact topic. And he talks about why people do this. And, even better, he talks about how you can solve this kind of problem, how you can break the cycle, you can break the pattern, and stop making these choices again and again. Very interesting. His name is Bill Ferguson. Do a Google search for him. Bill, B-I-L-L, and Ferguson is his last name. I'm trying to remember how to spell Ferguson. But anyway, this guy was a very interesting guy. He was a divorce lawyer. So he was helping people get divorced. But he didn't like it. He didn't like it because, all the people were just fighting all the time. And he thought that he should try to help people have a better relationship. So he's instead of helping people get divorced and fight, he started trying to help people talk and figure out their problems. So if they did get a divorce, they would be friends. They could have a calm breakup, basically, and they wouldn't hate each other. There wouldn't be all these terrible, angry, nasty, negative emotions. And when he started to do this, it started to work. He was helping a lot of people, so he decided to become a counselor. And I think he was on Oprah's TV show a few times. But anyway, go to his website. His name is Bill Ferguson, B-I-L-L, and his last name is F-E-R-G-U-S-O-N, Bill Ferguson. His website is called Mastery of Life, so it's www.masteryoflife.com. So www.masteryoflife.com. Mastery of Life, 3 words together. Anyways, he's got some interesting articles on there, and I will use some of his articles for a future lesson. All right, so that's all. Go to the forums. Try to write a little bit. Write about this topic. What should this woman do? Write about your own life. What problems do you have in your life that happen again and again? All right, I'll see you next time. Bye-bye. Next time. Welcome to the mini story for bad choices. Let's get started with the story. David Beckham is a man who wants to have his cake and eat it too. He wants to be a famous movie star and a famous football player. So he moves to Hollywood. He hooks up with Tom Cruise. They hit it off immediately. David likes Tom. Tom likes David. Beckham says, "The bottom line is that I want to be a movie star just like you, Tom. Can you help me?" Tom says, "Of course. My gut tells me you will be a big success in Hollywood." So, Tom introduces Bex to a director who is very powerful. The director makes a movie with Beckham. But it's a terrible movie. Everybody hates it, and they hate Beckham. The public feels a powerful animosity towards Beckham. They can't stand him. They yell at him. They throw things at him. Beckham can't deal with the public's animosity. He is a guy who's very sensitive. He becomes scared. He feels this is a dire situation. Beckham is so scared he won't leave his house. He keeps the windows closed and the doors locked. He becomes paranoid, and he won't leave the house, even to play soccer. Finally, his team manager calls and says, "This is a situation which is unacceptable. You're fired." Beckham cries, "No!" He has no job, and nobody can stand him. Okay, let's go back to the top, this time with questions. David Beckham is a man who wants to have his cake and eat it too. Does Beckham want 2 things, but really he can only have 1? Yes, that's the exact meaning of to have his cake and eat it too. What does he want? What 2 things does he want? Well, he wants to be a soccer player and a movie star. He wants both. But actually, he must choose. He can only be one, either a movie star or a soccer player. He doesn't have enough time or talent or skill to do both. But he wants both. He wants to have his cake and eat it too. Does Beckham want to have his cake and eat it too by being rich and good looking? Well, no, actually, no. It's possible to be rich and good looking. That's okay. You can look good, you can be handsome and rich. You don't need to choose between those two things. So that's not the problem. He wants to have his cake and eat it too because he wants to be a famous soccer player and be a famous actor at the same time. And this is not possible. He wants to have his cake and eat it too. He wants both things, but he can only have one. So he moves to Hollywood. He hooks up with Tom Cruise. Does he meet Tom Cruise? Yes, he does. He meets Tom Cruise. Does he hook up with John Travolta? No, he doesn't hook up with John Travolta. Does he hook up with Julia Roberts? No, he doesn't hook up with Julia Roberts. Does he hook up with Tom Cruise? Yes, he does, of course. Does he hook up with Julia Roberts or Tom Cruise? Well, he hooks up with Tom Cruise. Does he hook up with the Spice Girls? Well, in the past, he hooked up with one of the Spice Girls, right? He hooked up with one of the Spice Girls. Now, this is a different meaning of hooked up. Is he dating Tom Cruise? Well, no, he's not. No. He hooked up with Tom Cruise means he just met Tom Cruise. They met, they got together. But if he hooked up with one of the Spice Girls, then that means, yeah, he's dating her, he's married to her now, etc. So he hooked up with Tom Cruise, and they hit it off immediately. Did Tom hate David? No. They hit it off immediately. They liked each other immediately. Did Beckham hit it off with Tom? Yes, he did. Beckham liked Tom. Did Tom hit it off with Beckham? Yeah, Tom also liked Beckham. They hit it off. They both hit it off. Did Tom Cruise hit it off with Ronaldinho? No. He didn't hit it off with Ronaldinho. In fact, he hates Ronaldinho. He hates him. He likes Beckham because Beckham is cool and he looks good. So, he hit it off with David Beckham. He did not hit it off with Ronaldinho. Who did Beckham hit it off with? Well, he hit it off with Tom Cruise. All right, so they liked each other. And Beckham said, "The bottom line, Tom, is that I want to be a movie star just like you." What is Beckham's final point, his most important point? Well, the most important thing he wants is to be a movie star just like Tom Cruise. That's the bottom line. Is the bottom line that Beckham wants money? No, that's not the bottom line. The money is not the most important thing for Beckham right now. What is the bottom line for David Beckham? The bottom line is he wants to be a famous movie star. That's his bottom line. That's his main point, his final point, his most important point. What is Tom Cruise's bottom line? Well, maybe Tom Cruise's bottom line is Scientology, his religion. That's his bottom line. He wants to get David to join Scientology, to join his religion. That's Tom's secret bottom line. But Beckham's bottom line is that he wants to be a movie star. So he says, the bottom line is, I want to be a movie star just like you. Tom Cruise says, of course, my gut tells me you will be a big success in Hollywood. Does Tom know definitely, 100%, that Beckham will succeed? No. He doesn't know, not in his brain, not in his mind. His gut tells him that he will be a big success. He has a feeling, right? A feeling in his stomach. He has a deep feeling that Beckham will be successful, but he doesn't really know. He's not sure. He just has a strong feeling. His gut tells him that Beckham will be a big success in Hollywood. Does his gut tell him that Beckham will be a great soccer player in Los Angeles? No, his gut does not tell him he will be a great soccer player. What does Tom's gut tell him? Tom's gut tells him that Beckham will be a big success in Hollywood as an actor. His gut doesn't tell him that he'll be a big success as a soccer player. Maybe he won't be. But his gut tells him that he'll be a big success in Hollywood. Whose gut tells him that Beckham will succeed? Well, Tom Cruise's gut tells him that Beckham will be a big success in Hollywood. And so Tom introduces Beckham to a director who is very powerful. The director makes a movie with Beckham, but it's a terrible movie. Everybody hates it, and they hate Beckham too. The public feels a powerful animosity towards Beckham. Does the public like David Beckham? No, they feel animosity towards him. Do they think Beckham is their enemy? Yes, that's right. They think David Beckham is their enemy. He is the enemy of goodness. He is the enemy of good quality. He is the enemy of honesty. He is their enemy. They feel a powerful animosity towards him. They feel animosity towards Beckham. Who feels animosity towards Beckham? Well, the public, the American public, feels animosity towards Beckham. Does Tom Cruise feel animosity towards Beckham? No. Tom still likes David Beckham. Tom does not feel animosity towards Beckham. The public feels animosity towards Beckham. Does Beckham feel animosity towards the public? No. Beckham loves the public. He wants them to love him. The public feels animosity towards Beckham, but Beckham does not feel animosity towards the public. So the public feels animosity towards Beckham. They can't stand him. Do they love him? No, the opposite. They can't stand him. They hate him. Who can't the public stand? Well, the public can't stand David Beckham. Can the public stand Tom Cruise? Yeah. They still like Tom Cruise, but they can't stand David Beckham. Can Beckham's wife stand him? Yes, his wife can stand him. She still likes him. She still loves him. But the public can't stand David Beckham. They can't stand him. They don't like him. They hate him. They can't stand him, so they yell at him and throw things at him. You suck! Yeah! Beckham can't deal with the animosity. Can Beckham handle the animosity? The bad feeling? No, he can't handle it. Can he survive it? No, he can't survive it. He can't. He feels horrible. He feels terrible. He wants to hide. He can't deal with the animosity. He can't handle it. He can't survive it. He can't keep trying when everybody yells at him. Why can't he deal with the animosity? Well, Beckham can't deal with the animosity because he's very sensitive. He's a guy who is very sensitive. So Beckham can't deal with the bad feelings. Beckham can't deal with the public's animosity. Can Beckham deal with his coach? Yeah, Beckham can deal with his soccer coach. If his soccer coach becomes angry, Beckham can deal with it. He can deal with it, no problem. But he can't deal with the public's animosity. He can't deal with the public's hatred. Beckham can't deal with the public not liking him. He can deal with his coach, but he can't deal with the public's animosity. He is a guy who is very sensitive, so he becomes scared. He feels this is a dire situation. Does he think this is a dangerous and difficult and scary situation? Yes, exactly. He feels this is a dire situation. Does he feel like it's a risky situation? Possibly dangerous. Yes, that's right. He feels it is a dire situation, a very risky situation. What is the dire situation? Well, the dire situation is the public's animosity. right? They hate him. That's the dire situation. Does he have a dire situation with soccer, with football? No, no, no. He's still good at playing soccer. He does not have a dire situation with soccer. That's not a dire situation. But his movie career has a dire situation. This is a dire situation. It's a dire situation that the public hates him. Beckham is so scared he won't leave his house. He keeps the windows closed and locked. He keeps his doors closed and locked. He becomes paranoid. Does Beckham think everyone wants to hurt him? Yes, he's paranoid. He thinks everybody wants to hurt him. Does he think Tom Cruise wants to hurt him? Yes, he does. He thinks that even Tom Cruise wants to hurt him. He's paranoid. Does Tom really want to hurt him? No, Tom really does not want to hurt Beckham. Tom still likes Beckham, but Beckham's paranoid. Beckham thinks everybody wants to hurt him, even Tom Cruise, even his wife. He thinks everyone wants to hurt him and everybody hates him. He's paranoid. Is he paranoid about his wife? Yes, he is. He thinks his wife also hates him. Is he paranoid about Tom Cruise? Yes, he thinks Tom Cruise wants to hate him also and wants to hurt him. Does he think that everyone in the world wants to hurt him? Yes, he does. He is very, very paranoid. He thinks everybody in the world hates him and wants to hurt him. He is super paranoid. He's so paranoid that he won't leave his house. He won't even go to play soccer. Finally, his team coach, his team manager calls and says, "Beckham, this is a situation which is unacceptable. You're fired." Beckham loses his job and his movie career. He starts to cry. Oh no, everybody hates me. He has no job and nobody can stand him. Does anybody like Beckham now? No, not anymore. Finally, nobody likes him. Finally, nobody can stand him. Can Tom Cruise stand him, finally, in the end? No, even Tom Cruise can't stand him in the end. Why can't Tom Cruise stand him anymore? Well, because he's so paranoid, right? He's always telling Tom, "You want to hurt me. You want to hurt me. You hate me." And so now, even Tom Cruise can't stand him. Can his wife stand him anymore? No, even his wife can't stand him. Now she wants a divorce because Beckham is not famous anymore. Nobody likes him, so his wife wants a divorce. She can't stand him. Tom Cruise can't stand him. His coach can't stand him. The public can't stand him. Nobody likes him. Okay, this one is a little long, so no time to pause. So what I would like you to do, go back, listen to each sentence, then pause and repeat the sentence. Copy my pronunciation. Then listen to the next sentence. Pause again. Repeat my pronunciation. Copy my pronunciation. And then play one more sentence, and then pause, and again, copy my pronunciation. After you do that, finally, try to tell all of the story yourself. Okay, go on to the point of view mini stories next. Point of view mini stories next. Point of view mini stories.